It's the Golden Road TV show. Well, bridging the past with today for a better tomorrow.
Golden Road explores the intersection of arts, environment, culture, health, peace, justice, science, and technology, paving the road for positive social change.
It's the Golden Road TV show. It's the Golden Road TV show.
Don't need to be looking at it.
Make it nice and gentle. On hot days, this is his favorite thing.
I don't blame him.
So my name is JP Novick. I'm the Executive Director of the Center for Animal Protection and Education. And we're a nonprofit 501c3 animal protection organization. We're actually celebrating our 25-year anniversary this year. And we do a variety of things. We rescue animals, mostly animals who come from situations where they had no other options of a safe place to go. Our specialty is animals who have special needs, that have some kind of a medical condition or a disability, and they come here and we tune them up and then they stay here. And over the past 25 years, I'm really proud to say that we've rescued thousands of dogs. As most people probably know, that sadly in this country there's a tragic overpopulation problem of dogs and cats and rabbits, and our shelters get really full and there's not enough homes. He's pissed. He's wondering why I'm going to go inside and walk him.
You are quite a talker. Yeah, you're quite a talker.
Okay, so this is Bogart. He's an older turkey now. He's called a heritage breed. And these are the breed of turkeys that are raised for food. You can see he's pretty, got lots of
Meat on the breast.
Meat on the breast. What a character. We just love this animal. He has a very strong personality. And we're not letting him out of the barn today because there's a coyote that's been hanging around, and he normally has free range of the whole pasture here. And he hangs out a lot with his friends, his chicken friends down there, but we're keeping him inside until we know the coast is clear. But turkeys are just wonderful, amazing creatures. This here is adornment, and the males have this little doodad above their beak called a snood, and sometimes it kind of unfolds and comes out over his beak, and you can see that his face and his neck change colors. Sometimes it's more blue, sometimes it's more red. He is just a wonderful character. Every night when we come to put all the animals in the barn to put them to bed, he knows he walks from out wherever he is on the sanctuary. He goes into his stall in the barn, and where we have a big crate, he walks in his crate and puts himself to bed. And he does that every single night. Let's start with Remy. This is Remy. We rescued him about 9 months ago from an auction in the Central Valley, and he came in. He was very sick and debilitated, wounds all over, feet overgrown. He was basically dumped at an auction where oftentimes broken down horses will go for $5 or $10, and a lot of times people will buy them for cheap and either take them home and slaughter them and eat them. People illegally do eat horses, but other times so-called killer buyers will come in when there's going to be a large group of horses that they can buy at auction, and they transport them across state lines to Mexico and have them slaughtered there. Sadly, I think people don't realize there is also a surplus of horses in this country, and a lot of times they're just discarded when people are done riding them, or their kids get tired of them, or whatever. So again, it's just this. You can see we brought him back to health. He's a beautiful, sweet animal. He probably has another good 20 years, of life to live. He's very happy here with his little new family. And then a couple of years ago, we started to pilot a burro rescue program. And the Bureau of Land Management, which manages our public lands in this country, what they've been doing is rounding up by the thousands the wild mustangs and wild burros. And they do this by using low-flying helicopters to sort of push them into trap pens. And in this process, animals get hurt, herds get broken apart, mustangs and burros form very tight family units. And, you know, they're extremely sort of, you know, they're herd animals, so they run in groups, in family groups. So when the helicopters come and break up these herds, they then transport the animals into holding pens where they do go up for adoption, but once again, not enough homes. There's just not enough people that are willing to take, that know how or have the capability of taking in a wild equine. Right now, we are trying to get people to tell their congressional representatives to put a stop to the roundup of these beautiful animals that are part of our heritage. I urge people to go to the website, American Wild Horse Campaign. That's the group that we work closely with, and they monitor the herds and across the country and what the BLM is doing. I urge people to go to their website. There's petitions you can sign. You can educate yourself about what you can do to stop the cruelty. The reason they're rounding up these animals is that they want the land, the public land, to be used for cattle grazing. And, you know, we just feel like it's an incredible injustice to these animals that have lived there for hundreds of years. And like I say, it's a very cruel, you know, a lot of them end up just with no other options of a safe place to go. We sort of assume that some of them do get sent to slaughter because there's just nowhere for them to go. The BLM says that they don't do that, but we know of situations where killer buyers have come in and taken some of the wild horses and sent them to slaughter. So leave them alone. We just want, you know, they're part of nature, they're part of our natural heritage, they deserve the right to live out their life free from suffering, just like all beings do. And you can see we've worked with these animals for quite a while, so they are no longer wild. In fact, they're like little puppy dogs. They'll follow you around. They're very, very sweet. Hello, Pippi. Hello, Pippi. Hello, sweetheart.
I've got a new friend over here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Oh my God, they don't even know you. Oh, good baby. You got the magic touch there, man. That's it. So these two were rounded up in Wyoming and held in trap pens there. And they're very bonded. They came from the same herd. And at one point, somebody came along and wanted to adopt one of them. And that's when we got a call from the American Wild Horse Campaign saying, you know, we cannot let these two be split up. Can you take two? We said, of course, we'll arrange to have them picked up. And these two animals are so bonded to each other. They're never more than like a foot or two apart. I mean, it's almost like watching a synchronized swimming thing, you know. They're so bonded to each other. Well, a couple of months ago, when we trim their feet, we have to have the vet come out and sedate them so they get knocked down so that we can get to their feet and trim them. So we started with Sophie first, who's in the purple halter, and she went down to the ground. And Vita, her friend, went nuts and tried to kill the vet. She thought the vet had killed her BFF, you know. and she started striking and biting, and she went nuts. She was making all these sounds. And we were trying to explain to her, this is temporary, she'll be back up in 15 minutes. But it just tells you how much they love each other, how much they care about each other. I mean, the bonds that connect these animals are so, some people don't understand that animals have very intricate relationships with each other. And we need to respect that. Walking on his legs for a while. Now he's all better. Is this the cutest little baby I've ever seen? Hello, buddy. Look, this is no, he's going to be like that. He's going to be a big boy. Aren't you? Aren't you, Apollo? You're a good boy. And the first night that we got him, we've only had him for, I don't know, 3-4 weeks. He sounds like when he cries, because we basically, he was going to be taken to slaughter, so we took him away from his family to save him. And he screamed and screamed. They could hear him over at Animal Place. Like, what is going on over there? He was very upset. But now he's very happy, and Stevie's his best friend. So one of our programs that I'm extremely proud of is we do rescue a lot of dogs. We rescue, our kind of niche is that we rescue dogs who have special needs, who are having a hard time in the shelters, and we take them out and we put those dogs in foster homes until they're ready for adoption. Our other program, which I'm really excited about, it's a brand new program. We have collaborated with another organization called Compassion Without Borders, who are located up in Santa Rosa. They do amazing work across the border and in California, working with shelters who have a very high volume of dogs that are basically don't have any safe place to go. And we have with them created, we have a 3-acre shelter up in Santa Rosa with 58 kennels, so that we can remove dogs from situations where they're not going to make it out of the shelter and temporarily house them at Matopia, which is the name of our facility up in Santa Rosa. So we're really excited about this program. Like I say, it's brand new, and we've already saved many dogs that have benefited from going to Matopia before they can either be adopted or go into our foster homes or into our Rough and Ready program. So you can go on our website and read more about Matopia. So, Michael, first of all, I want to thank you and Stephanie for coming out today and interviewing me and meeting the animals. You know, one thing that's really encouraging is there's a lot of people, both regionally, here in this county and beyond throughout the state, that are doing wonderful work on behalf of animals. And there's more collaboration happening. We love it to invite activists who are working on certain things. They're welcome to come here and use our guest cabin right in front of the burro pasture. There's just the movement, the animal rights movement, the movement to provide animals with more protections, the vegan movement. It's a growing in leaps and bounds, and I love it when we all collaborate and work together to prevent suffering. So again, thank you for coming out today, and I just wanted to wrap up our time together by saying that every animal has the right to their own life, free from suffering, and that's what our philosophy is. We can all live a very happy, healthy, enjoyable life without ever harming anybody. So our website, we have two websites. Our website is www.capeanimals.org. That's C-A-P-E animals.org. And then we also have a website for our film festival, which is animalfilmfestival.org. And you can reach us at area code 831-336-4695. Thank you so much.
I've been enjoying it.
Good, finally.
How's it going? Steve from Space Rabies here, the off-center stage, August 18, 2017. Doing a little interview. Hello.
So how would you describe your music?
Three-piece, instrumental, hard, psychedelic rock. Definitely riff-heavy, but melodic at the same time. I think it's pretty unique. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, I'm Ryan from Space Rabies. I played the drums, and I think you nailed it. It's hard to, you always try to avoid that question, how would you describe your music, you know, because what it does for me might do something else for somebody else, but people want to know what they're getting into, so I think you nailed it. And we're about to go on in like literally 3 minutes, so we're excited.
Yeah, a little jittery maybe, but... Hi, I'm Leif from Space Rabies. I play bass, and we're just three guys who got together, and I think Steve-O started the project, what, like 7 years ago, and it's taken this long to kind of develop and get it to where it is, and lots of changing members, but we're glad to where it is today, and super excited to keep playing shows in the future, too. to check out Space Rabies on Facebook. You can find us on there. Just look up Space Rabies. You'll see us pretty easily. And be sure to look for any future events coming up.
Yeah, and we got an album that came out early last year.
Yeah, November.
It's called They Drew First Blood.
They Drew First Blood. Space Rabies debut album. You can find it at Bandcamp. Just look up Space Rabies. And we're there.
Space Rabies or They Drew First Blood. Type it in, you'll see a picture of us. I think you got a couple of listens, and then you kick us some money and download it. We're broke! No.
the intersection of arts, environment, culture, health, peace, justice, science, and technology.
It's a golden road, a TV show.com.
My name is Anna Wright and I work for the Shasta Trinity National Forest. I am a fire prevention technician, so I try to help prevent unwanted forest fires from being started. So I'm up here on the mountain today to help make sure that people are being safe, that they can park where we can get emergency vehicles through, and that nobody unintentionally starts a fire. It is super smoky right now, so we don't need any more smoke in the air.
And so far, how has it been with people coming up for the eclipse?
So far, everyone has been fairly mellow. I haven't seen any illegal campfires in the last couple days. I have seen some people parking in undesirable spots, but that's about it.
Great.
Everything's been pretty mellow.
All right, so you feel pretty positive about people coming up and appreciating the environment and the mountain and whatever they're into, doing their thing, as long as they respect the no fires and are respectful to the place?
Yeah, so far the crowd has been very respectful this year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cancers.
Steve. Hey, it's Michael DiMartino. How are you? No, I'm up at a big gathering on the top of Mount Shasta. There's music and people and ceremonies and stuff happening. So I just want to, I sent an email, but I wanted to let you know I would.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just hand it over to you.
See, women have to always watch out for us, you know.
There's a spot to here if you want to sit.
So here I am up on Mount Shasta, and here we are doing another feature video shoot from the top of Mount Shasta for the rare solar eclipse. And here with Golden Road, doing some interviews, meeting with some people, sitting in silence, just enjoying the incredible electric and magnetic energy up here from people gathering from all over the world. It's really amazing. We just had a little silent vigil followed by drums and conches and people howling, and even though everyone is focused up on the sun and on the sky, that, you know, really what's happening is not only an external world natural phenomenon, but it's something happening within all of us in our relationship to light and our consciousness, and awakening of a new paradigm here on the earth. And it's really nothing new. It's the way people have lived harmoniously for tens of thousands of years, even before we believe history started. But people are starting to make the connection between the internal environment and the external universe, and we're here today just to acknowledge and feel that connection, and to mark this another sacred day, sacred like all days, like all moments, all hours, just marking this sacred moment here with a spiritual community up on Mount Shasta. So we hope you enjoy this short video clip, interviews, and music and images from the eclipse gathering. Thank you.
I thought it was. There is a bad
My fellow Virgo, and then I have to find a way to get you the visuals. So I'll probably have a number. So let me just put a number down and I'll get
Because it has to. Oh, yes. Yes, well, the bigger ones can sometimes.
I'm Katie Davis. I am the baker and owner of New Dawn Bakery, located in Auburn, California. We started New Dawn Bakery baking out of our home kitchen and selling at the Nevada City Farmers Market. Within the first year, we realized it was so popular that we needed a commercial space with a larger oven. And so we moved down to Auburn, and we now have a storefront and a commercial bakery. We are a dedicated gluten-free bakery with vegan, paleo, and dairy-free options. We are now open to the public 5 days a week. Come, bring your family, enjoy a goodie and a fresh cup of coffee.
Hello, I'm Michael DiMartino, the producer and current host of the Golden Road TV and radio show. We're just about to be 1 year old this August, and we've been committed to a weekly 2-hour live TV broadcast, which occurs on the internet both through YouTube and Ustream and other platforms, and broadcasting across Northern California on 8 different cable channels. So we're still in our early development, but nonetheless the show is beginning to gather momentum and is a great success. The show itself is focused on arts, culture, history, health, the environment. We do focus on some peace and justice, and also some science and technology. So even though I'm usually in front of the camera hosting the show, I wanted to do this video in an auspicious spot like Mount Shasta, just to bring you the magnitude of what we're doing with the show. I'm constantly traveling, shooting video, archiving, and then live streaming almost every Sunday to bring conscious, educational, and enlightening content to you, the viewers, and to around the world. We also broadcast the audio on several radio stations, and we're now offering podcasts. So I'm doing this video as an appeal for support. We live in a current day and age where independent media is being threatened, but with the power of the internet, we can still reach the world. So at this time, we do have some underwriters and sponsors for the show, but it's growing really quickly, and we're appealing and asking very simply for your support. So if you're watching this video, go to the Facebook page or to the website goldenroadradiohour.com, and please make a donation to help support this effort, because in just the last 11 months traveling around this area of California and other regions, talking with people, there's something really special happening. And I'm very honored to be a part of that and be able to bring that to you every week through independent, non-commercial media. So if you're committed to the voice of people and the voice of the community, if you like art and culture and music of the world, again, please support the show, and we do graciously appreciate all of your support. So thank you, and on that I'll leave you with the image of incredible Mount Shasta in the background after a day of shooting the Best of Mount Shasta Festival and Conference. Just one of many events that we cover every week here on the Golden Road. So thank you so much for your time.
It's a golden road TV show. Yes, it's a golden road TV show. It's a Golden Road TV Show.com.
Okay, well, my name's Jack Alice. I'm an author and I'm a spiritual teacher. I live about 30 miles north of here in the mountains as the crow flies, and out in the middle of nowhere. As I've already talked with several of you here, so you already have kind of heard the story. Living in a potential sustainable community in terms of, we're off the grid and we've got spring water and we have wonderful infrastructure that exists there for a sustainable community. The only thing that's missing are the people. There's only 3 of us up there now, so there's a lot more. We need about 15, to really make the thing work. But I built my house up there, and there's 2 other young people who live up there. And so that's one of the primary goals in my life right now, has been for years and years and years. This is my 4th book that I just, I should probably back up a little bit. I've been primarily retired, even though I hate that word. But I just kind of moved up there and I said, I'm done writing, I'm done speaking, I think I've done my part. Let's let the young people stand up, let somebody else take the torch. And I did that about 5 years ago. And I made it about 2 years. And I needed to start writing again, and I needed to start getting involved in the world again. So just came out with a new book. Last week, really, it just came out, and I'm just beginning to talk about it and go public with it. It's called Blue Sun, Red Sun, a story of ancient prophecy unfolding in the modern world. And it's very much a story of overcoming the apparently insurmountable challenges we face in today's world and creating a new world through small sustainable communities with a spiritual base. And by spirituality, I define what I mean by spirituality, because very often, when you start talking about spirituality, you start making people crazy about it. They worry about divisiveness, and we can't deal with that term. But a spirituality which all people can embrace, and if we can't all embrace the same kind of spirituality, then I don't think there's much hope for us anyway. And that would be a spirituality that basically focused on our relationship with nature, our relationship with the forces of nature, our relationship with Mother Earth, and basically serving these forces, living in harmony with nature, living in harmony with Mother Earth, living in harmony with the forces of nature, and basing our lifestyles on that. And I've been writing about that for years and years, 3 books, 2 DVDs prior to this one, and it came time for me in 2012 to actually start practicing when I'm preaching, in terms of I'm going to actually do it. I've been writing about this for long enough. It's time to, and I had an opportunity. A Mayan elder actually owns this property, and his name is Eric Gonzalez, and I learned about him about 2009, so I learned about him about 8 years ago. And followed many of his teachings and went to many of his events and everything, and really resonated with the message that was coming. He's very traditional. He's a traditional carrier of the ancient teachings, and I really resonated with that and got to know him and to be close with his family and those kinds of things. And he invited me to build my house up there. I was like, ooh, yeah, sure, I can do that. So essentially that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years, attempting to make my lifestyle, match what I've been writing about for years and years. And now coming out with a new book that basically is written on all the same themes. The theme is overcoming the challenges we face and creating the new world the only way I think is possible, and that's in small self-sustaining communities. I don't think anything else really works. And we've got a wonderful example of how to do that with our, our native and our indigenous brothers and sisters for hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of years, depending upon how we look at history, present us with a marvelous model, a marvelous example of exactly how to do this, living in harmony with nature, and living based upon a spiritual base, in small communities. They made it work for many, many, many years, and so that's basically what we're trying to do. We're trying to duplicate that up where I'm living. We call it Bear Palmetto, is the name that we gave it, and that's basically what we're endeavoring to do, and basically that's what I'm endeavoring to do, and that's the message that I believe I'm carrying at this point, and I'm attempting to share in meetings like this, and also in my books and other books and DVDs that are going to be coming out in the future. So that's me in a nutshell. Thank you.
My name is Rahasia, and my wife and I, Dara and I, we do the Lotus Guide. And I think even just sitting here talking like this, I have no idea what I'm going to say, but I was telling Michael earlier, anytime I can read from a script, I can do an outline and it sounds perfect, but it doesn't get the energy across. The only way I can get the real transmission of what I'm saying is if I just sit here and listen with you all. So I think what I have to say about this is I think we're on the verge of an awakening, and I can see two camps, and the polarity of this planet is really coming up strong, because the negative forces are entrenched. And I guess I could give and I say this little analogy every once in a while because it's such a good one. I was interviewing Bruce Lipton, and we were talking about the state of the world, how things are a little bit crazy and chaotic, and he says, hey, here's a good analogy for you. And I tell you, it's really representative of what we're going through right now. And it's called imaginal cells. And it's about when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. We just sort of use that motif to explain a lot of things, transformation. But here lately, they've been studying and doing research into what happens in between here in the chrysalis. Because when the caterpillar gets this inward signal to start doing something, it doesn't know why. Goes upside down, does the chrysalis, and starts breaking down. And for the caterpillar, it's chaos. It's the end of its life. Over, and it fights. Every cell in the body holds on to be a caterpillar. And I see that happening in our world, our old regiment, our old caterpillar regime. We're at the end of it. And it's imploding from its own weight, its own corruption, its own deprived morality. Everything is tearing it down, and it looks chaotic, but it's important because if you look in the chrysalis, strategically placed in there are imaginal cells, and it's a biological term. Those imaginal cells hold the pattern and the vision of the butterfly, and it just calmly holds on, holds tight into chaos, and everything starts slowly forming around those imaginal cells, and it becomes a butterfly. And I see that in today's world. We have visionaries. We're visionaries. We know that right up ahead is a better world, and it has nothing to do with this. And if we can use the chaotic regime that's breaking down, remnants, even the military could be such an amazing force out into the world, delivering food and helping people. But we have to change minds and hearts and hold tight to a vision and start creating in little communities and let that spread out. And I think that's what we're all doing, because quite truthfully, we're never going to fix the caterpillar. It's done. That was a phase that we've gone through. And if we even try to do that, we're going to be sucked into the chaos. We have to let it go. Let it go, let it be, let it vanish off into the never, never land, and forgive the people that's done this to us. There's some horrendous people out there, but I think for us to evolve consciously, forgiveness is going to be one of the key factors. Forgiving the unforgivable is going to show our true spiritual nature, and is going to be the key that's going to unlock our energy systems that we don't even know about yet. That's going to let us evolve into a whole new level of being. Because Einstein said, we're never going to come up with solutions from the same level that created the problems, ever. So we only have one direction to go, and that's to evolve upward and outward and onward. And I think that's what our Lotus Guide is about, is getting really good information out there. We started a radio show called Spiritual Activists because we see every problem in the world as actually the essential part of that problem is a spiritual conscious problem. And if you come up to the level of mass media and all of the 3D dense matter and try to tighten down the nuts, it's never going to work. We have to go to the consciousness level and evolve up, because all of the answers we seek are not here. They're up a little bit beyond us, and we're all going to have these great, yeah, that's the answer. but we're never going to get there from the caterpillar thinking. And now working with Michael on the Golden Road, you know, having a Rahasia Uncensored segment where we can have 15 minutes to just talk about things that are a little bit out of the ordinary. And the TV show is such an amazing entertainment show. I have to be careful not to be a buzzkill too, but you know, to get out there and talk about things that need to be talked about, that the corporate media is not only not talking about, they will never talk about it, ever. You know, they're part of a regime, and they have an agenda, and everything I'm talking about is the end of them. So they're not going to talk about this. It's up to us. And I think if we learn how to redefine and even respell justice, we're going to find out it's just us. So that's me.
My name is Ma Anandara Lemus. That's my spiritual name that was given to me by this spiritual teacher in India many, many years ago. And I'm also a healer, and I intuitive reading. I use the hands, and I love to teach active meditations. And then a few years ago, 13 years ago, in Chico, we started to do the Lotus Guide meditation. Start to take over. And with Lotus Guide Lotus Guide magazine was half of my idea. I had like a dream to do Lotus Guide and then do a center commune kind of thing. You know, so never really happened the other half yet. And I never thought of something really big because, like Mike was saying, big, too many people, it's like get out of hand. And it's good to be centered and heart. It could be something small. So, and like Rahasa was saying, I never know what I'm going to say. And I'm really glad to be here. This is really amazing place, Manchester. It's really opened my heart, and I'm really glad that we are here together, that you guys put this together here for this eclipse thing. We don't need to be anywhere, but thank you to do this, to facilitate this. You know. So thank you so much, and yes.
Hi, my name is Michaela Cordeo. I'm so appreciative for being a participant in this experience. I didn't really know what to expect, and I love it when things are perfect. I'm a healer and a channel for the Ascended Masters, and been in Mount Shasta off and on for the last 30 years. And I'm also the director for the Mount Shasta Authors Guild, so it was great to meet at least one fellow author. But what I want to talk about is the eclipse, because I recently started working deeply with the Buddha, and he's given me some information about it that I think would be great to share in this venue. Up until he gave me this information, I was going around telling people, I don't know anything about the eclipse. I'm not even paying attention to it. And so that was apparently the opening for me to find out something. So it's actually a 2-page document, which I'll share with people, but I'm trying to synthesize it into something short. He basically said that the higher beings of light that are organizing things for this planetary transformation in our chrysalis, and we're really in the middle of our chrysalis phase. I thought that was gorgeous what he said. They're using the attention that's going to the eclipse to synchronize a huge energetic download for the planet. And one of the key things that will be happening, and I'm holding this vision, invite you all to join with me, is they're going to be clearing the planetary field of all separation. That doesn't mean that individuals won't still have their stuff, but there won't be bleed through from the planetary consciousness. So everything that's been in the past is going to be cleared up. So, and before that, he was talking, the day before he actually gave me another little thing, and he was talking about something that, it was one of those effortless, simplistic things that you think, oh, why didn't I think of that? But he was talking about, we're on a journey right now. And you can think of it in terms of going up a set of stairs. He said, when you go up a set of stairs, you don't stop on step 3 and say, okay, I've got here. You know you're going to, it is a foundation for you to move to the next step, but you don't stay there until you get actually where you're going. And when you get where you're going, it's not an end, it's a beginning. So this is huge what we're going through right now. And I've been getting little sense and understanding of what's going on. Somebody came to me a couple of months ago and said, people thought that the big change was supposed to be 2012. It's this year. And what I know for this year is that I've been talking to one person after the other who says, I have no idea what's going on. Everything in my life has changed and I don't know where I'm going. And I call that the big I don't know. But we are in that process. We are in that transformation process. At one point, I actually had to give up my whole concept of what being the director for the Authors Guild was, and I told everybody I was quitting. Within a week, the entire project had shifted into this huge way, and new resource people started showing up. So I'm presently engaged with a bunch of people that just showed up in my life who are creating a unity project on October 8th here in Mount Shasta. It's going to be called Unity Through Music. But the intention is to go beyond a lot of our separation issues and do a lot of things. So it's going to be people that are metaphysical and people who are not metaphysical. It'll be the normal community, and I don't want to call us an abnormal community, but super normal, like Brooke. There's going to be music, there's going to be healers, there's going to be environmental topics, and we're still in the co-creative stage, so we don't have all the details worked out, but it's going to be wonderful. We invite everybody to come October 8th. And so I'm happy to share my little Buddha production thing. If anybody wants it, they can email me at mcordeo1@gmail, and I'd be happy to send out copies of it. I found it so healing and uplifting to know that finally that huge shift we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, this is it. And one of the things he said about the eclipse is that because so many people are focused on what is basically a physical event, that when the trans-physical event happens, they have something in their mental state to say, to link it to. So they don't say, oh, I just made that up. They go, oh, I can, it was that eclipse. It was just really life transformational thing for me. But the eclipse was just a time frame that got people's attention. And he also mentioned that there are hundreds of thousands of people going somewhere to watch this, which means they've moved out of their comfort zone. And believe me, from everything I hear, it's going to be really uncomfortable for people. 70,000 people going to these little towns who never heard of it before, and overwhelming the entire infrastructure. I have a friend who lives in Lincoln City, which is the first place on the Oregon coast where the eclipse will be experienced in its totality, and hotel rooms are going for like $1,200 a night. It's like, hello. And my daughter and her family just came through here on their way up to a town in Oregon whose name I can't remember right now, outside of Bend. 70,000 people are expected in this town, which is undoubtedly going to at least double the population. So who knows what's going to happen to these people. But what we've been requested to do is pray for people everywhere, because the transformation process is huge, and the biggest thing to do right now is to let go of what no longer serves you. The behaviors, the beliefs, the expectations, might be relationships, it could be anything. Whatever it is, just ask God and the angels to help you let it go. And I don't remember, several people probably said forgiveness is key. Just let go and know that what is coming in is so much bigger and better and more awesome than we can even imagine. That's the summary. Thanks.
Well, I'm glad to hear what everybody else said, because it's off the beaten path, and I was trying to get on a path and I couldn't. So now I feel all right to sort of say what I have to say. But I met Michael just a month ago. Michael came up to the Best of Mount Shasta. And this is an event to showcase the people in Mount Shasta who are uncovering and exploring new knowledge and new experiences, that the people who come to Mount Shasta, they never meet these people. And it's a treasure trove. It's an amazing phenomena that's going on within the people who live here, as well as, you know, people come to visit the mountain and they go to the main street and they go to the restaurants and the crystal rooms and they go home again, but they just don't meet the local people. And I think Michaela is a good example of, there's just a lot going on here, and a lot of it is new information, new experiences. And when Michael came, he brought his own vision. And I got immediately what he was saying, and this is to paraphrase it, but I'm sure he'll say it in another way, but one thing that I picked up on was that he was looking at all the counties from like Sacramento on up to the top of California, and seeing that there's amazing things going on in each of these areas, culture-wise, art-wise, a huge gamut of...
Spiritually.
Spiritual included. But a lot of what people who live normal lives are involved in, and wanting to showcase that group of people. So I really got what Michael was saying, and realizing that, you know, Siskiyou County, in addition to the spiritual component of it, does have these other aspects that are very lively. And I think one thing that's very noticeable about Siskiyou County is the amount of volunteers you find here. It's just in the school system, it's in the hospitals, it's wherever you look, there's always groups of volunteers that I never saw when I was down in the San Francisco Bay Area as a large collective like that. And so here comes Michael, and he says, okay, we want to get together, and now I want to start to look at Shasta County and Siskiyou County and see how this can fit into the Golden Road radio and TV show. So I thought, okay, that's great. What can I do to help? And then I realized, uh-oh, wait a minute. I do the Best of Mount Shasta because it needs to be done, but it's not who I am. And so this year it took 7 years out of my life, but there's something else that really is more of who I am, and now what do I do about it? So now I'm kind of shifting away, and I'm going, uh-oh, maybe I can't help Michael, but then I was glad to hear what everybody was saying here, because they were like these divergence, and there was a lot of truth being spoken. But for me, my spiritual journey began about 50 years ago when I went off to India and became a teacher of transcendental meditation. And it wasn't so much the TM technique or being a meditation teacher that was important, but for me it was the knowledge of the self, the knowledge of consciousness, the knowledge of enlightenment, the knowledge of another area of life that I had never grown up knowing about in our school system or in the city I lived in. And that really consumed my life for a good 20 years. And I was taken with the whole phenomena of how it was you could find yourself, and that's really where your treasure trove is. That's really where your life is. And I really bought that hook, line, and sinker. And then when I left that organization to be with my mother, who was passing away, I got involved with another group that was down in Brazil, and so then I went down to Brazil every year for 12 years to learn to be a medium. And I had no intention to be a medium. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about Brazil. I didn't know anything about Umbanda or Candomblé, any of that. But I just went and listened. And I didn't take what I knew with me. I never spoke about what I had gained. I just went very simply and I just entered into their environment. And the first night there was this, in the middle of the night, there was this Indian chief, all in white, who came forward and just was with me all night, and I didn't know what that was, and so I figured, well, I'm in Brazil, that must be some Brazilian chief, and he's going to be my caboclo, he's going to be my main guide. And so I just was simple with it all, and I don't speak Portuguese, so I missed a lot of the knowledge. All I could do was kind of watch the process. But in Brazil, it's really something unique happening. You don't see it in the United States at all. And that is that they teach you to be a medium so that they call it incorporation, where you're actually stepping aside and that being comes forth and uses your body and serves people. And so I was open to doing all of that. And then, however, you know, long story short, is when I came to Mount Shasta, Hiawatha started to take people on a meditation into the universe, through the universe, and beyond the universe. And he didn't do it in a linear way, like, okay, I'm going here and now I'm beyond the galaxy and now I'm beyond the universe. He did it where he kept increasing a person's awareness, so their awareness was bigger than the Earth, then their awareness became bigger than the galaxy, and then it became bigger than the universe. And then from there, from that broadened awareness, he took people back to their own original source, which some people call God, the Creator, the Self, the Absolute, all kinds of names for it. But he did it in a different way than I had ever been shown through the Vedic tradition, where you're sitting in meditation and your awareness opens to the Self, and that's what you become identified with. And I realized, I mean, I've been doing these meditations with him since 1996, so I've gotten well versed in it. But I realized that even in our culture, because there was a big opening in the United States for meditation and for consciousness and for enlightenment, but the people are still bound by the Earth. They're still bound by this third dimension. And even though they may experience unboundedness, they're experiencing it this way. And what he's doing is showing you how to have unboundedness and then kind of look back into the fishbowl, if you will. And it's really something that I haven't seen anywhere else. And I keep getting derailed, you know, because this is so significant, what he's offering, because, for instance, in the Vedas, in the Puranas, it says that there are 400,000 human species, human civilizations in our universe. Now, that's one piece of knowledge. But for me, I see it as there must have been people on Earth who had that broad awareness that they could see the details. Nobody on Earth has that kind of awareness anymore. So again, it's, you know, even though people are getting enlightened and they're meditating and they know consciousness, there's still this little boundary and they're not seeing the details of what's out there. And here's this technique that can really show people the details. Now, this conference that's in town right now, the Eclipse of Disclosure, you know, people are having experiences of ET experiences, they're connecting with this civilization, and I'm from the Pleiades and I'm from Orion. Well, those are all awakenings and those are truths for people. But what's happening is it's like only one place, one civilization, or one experience. And yet, if our awareness is broader than the universe itself, which is really what is the human phenomena, then it's going to be 400,000 species that we're going to be able to see. So here I'm sitting on this gold mine, and I keep getting diverted, like I really want to help Michael. I really want to help the people with the best of Mount Shasta, but it's like I'm 72 years old, and here it is. I figure I've got until I'm 90 years old of good activity, and then I'd like to just actually go into samadhi from that point on. But it's like I've really got to somehow focus on this. I've got to do it, because if I don't do it, and then I think, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do it because I'm not the type of person that draws a big crowd. So I just record everything, and I just keep all the paperwork, and then maybe there'll be somebody, maybe not even in my lifetime, who comes along who will take it one step forward, or maybe it'll be found in somebody's attic, you know, 3 generations from now, and all of a sudden, you know, it has some meaning to the population as a whole. But, you know, I sit here in this quandary because I see Michael's vision, and it's a great vision, and we need to bring people forward to help you fulfill that vision, because it's right down here where people live with their feet on the ground. This is their lives, and it's not the famous people that need the exposure anymore. And that's the other thing. You know, when you look at all the famous people, even they come to Mount Shasta and they bring their groups, and I listen to what they're talking about and I go, wait a minute, they're not saying anything new or different than what you won't already find here in Mount Shasta. And the thing that's happening that's in Mount Shasta that's different, the people are living here, and by virtue of being part of the mountain, they're seeing something actually new. So I think we are entering into a new phase where there's all the people that sort of human level out here that have something to say, these messages. I don't know how they're going to get out there. I don't know where you're going to find your audience. But you're the next group of people that are going to find the audience. And I don't think it's the famous people anymore, because I've been watching, I always watch these people to say what they're saying, to see what they're saying. And you know, all the famous people and stuff, it's yesterday's news. It's not tomorrow. And so I think, you know, as hard as it seems, you know, how is it you're going to get your voice? How is it people are going to know all these Mount Shasta authors? You know, we're just, you know, how is Michael going to get everybody to see his vision for all of these counties in California? And it's a beautiful vision, and I don't know the answer. And I'll do what I can to help, but it's kind of what's going on right now. It's this next group of people that have something to say, and it needs to be said, and a lot of it's new knowledge. How is it going to get out there? It may be something that's discovered in an attic 3 generations from now. I don't know, but it has to, you know, I think the thing that I would like to give for Michael is the courage to keep continuing. No matter if he comes to a room with, you know, 5 people or 20 people or 20,000 people, that the value in what Michael's doing is really significant. And how is it going to get out there? I just don't know, but it's got to get out there.
I'm Prasanna with the Healing Arts Festival. We're in Sacramento twice a year, first weekend in April and fourth weekend in September. And it's the largest metaphysical, spiritual, and holistic event in Sacramento. And we've got great free presentations. We have wonderful workshops that go really in depth, some special events, and exhibitors with talents from readers and healers, beautiful products, handmade, a lot of small businesses. So not only are you coming to something that's very uplifting, but you're supporting a lot of independent business owners. So we always do a fundraiser. The website is healingartsfestival.com. So.
This is my artwork. I'm at the Sacramento Healing Arts Festival. I do shamanic work within the pieces. I journey in order to find the elements and entities that come forward through my work, and I interpret them in my jewelry.
Don Schultz, and welcome to the Different Drum, the Road Show. This is what I do for a living. I hand make these wonderful drums. A lot of folks will see them for one side, but this is it. This is how they made drums 10,000 years ago. Nothing here but wood and hide and the ability to make a little sound. particular one's Deer Hide, great little drum. Been doing it for about 15 years now. No, the countenance is not what you'd usually expect with this. Yes, I am of a Nordic and German background, not Native American, but the drums come from all over the world, and that's how we do it. But this big girl right here in front of you, she's a special thing. This is Vintage Tuesday. She is brand new. Just finished it up and tied her this week. Hasn't given me her name yet, so I don't know what she's got cooking for me. But she's got a voice you wouldn't believe. Yeah, this is my church, the First Heathen Evangelical Church of Rhythm. The artwork has been done by a friend of mine who's a fabulous artist, but this is the best part, because it's oh so true.
Festival in Sacramento, California, and each of the people here present a different form of healing, or they have different things like crystals and crystal bowls and so forth. My particular healing modality is I use light from source, and I bring light in and I upgrade all of the essence of a person, the divine essence. I bring light into the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, the light body, and beyond. And it changes the way people think, the way they feel about themselves, the way they look at everything, knowing then that all, and I mean all, are divine beings. I wrote a little book, it's called My Spiritual Journey and Yours, and it outlines how I traveled and made my spiritual journey, and there's a little page where you can create your own, each person can create their own, so it takes you through the bulk of life's adventures, if you will, or journeys, opportunities to move into love, and so it's just a little teeny book.
Hi there, my name is Lorraine Chilson, and I'm a registered nurse and a clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm coming up with other modalities to assist people in their healing. And so I do tuning the biofield with sound therapy and tuning forks. I have a crystal bed that I got at Abadiânia, Brazil when I saw John of God. And I have a lot of different tools to try to assist people with whatever their healing needs are.
Follow the golden road. Follow the golden road. Follow, 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 follow the golden road. We're off to see the Golden Road TV show. You'll find it is a whiz of a show, if ever a show there was. It's arts and culture and history, environment, health, technology, and peace and justice, science, just because of the meaningful things it does. We're off to see the Golden Road TV show.
It's the Golden Road TV show. the Golden Road TV show. Well, listen once, listen twice. Oh, won't you please take my advice? It's the Golden Road